Hi, welcome to this episode of Chill with Sweaty AF. We have an amazing guest with us, Natiska Tjarks. Bit of a tongue twister.
Indeed.
A performance coach, and you have a personal journey around cold therapy as well. So we're super excited to talk to you in both those capacities, how you you work with performance coaching and cold, but also your personal story.
I would say my journey in kind of this arena started about 8 years ago when I did an NLP course and then a master's in NLP, and I just felt that it was just me. You know, when you start something, you get into something and you're like, this is my purpose, this is what I'm meant to do in my life. And then I'd always been really into fitness and health, but started to really delve into understanding other worlds, because for me, health is a very 360 approach. So for me to help people with the mental side of things, I also wanted to come with a whole array of other tools that I feel can really help align them on this higher level. Because for me, if you say really work on your mind, but the physical's not following with it, you find kind of this instability. So, and it, you know, when you kind of delve into something new, you also want to go with what you've experienced, what you've tried out and tested in your life, and what's kind of been your remedy for, in the end of the day, I'd say every day functioning at this higher level. From there, basically started creating some videos and just reaching out to a whole load of different athletes, and have been doing some talks for teams. But for me, I really thrive working with those individuals. So at the moment, working with a lot who are prepping for the Olympics.
We were just talking before when we were making a coffee, and you were telling us a little bit about Wim Hof. And is that how you started your cold therapy, or had you been involved in cold therapy before, or is this really where it started for you personally?
So I had some small experiences when young. My parents they're very open-minded. They're very into self-development, into yoga, spiritual. So from young, my dad would always encourage us to get in cold lakes, and we travelled a lot. So wherever we went, he'd go, you know, get in that freezing cold river or whatever it may be. So I think the first step was my mind's always been very open to it, and understood that and viewed it as just water. Yeah. And it's actually something they spoke about on the Wim Hof experience. They said, look, it's just water. Yes, it's cold, but it is just water. Yeah. If you stay in, of course, for an X amount of time and you're not considering your safety, it can become unsafe. But in the end of the day, up to kind of 10 minutes, you're good, it's water. I would say about 2 years ago on this journey, I thought, right, you know what, I'm going to start. I've never done it for a long enough period of time or consistent amount of time for me to really consider how do the benefits really affect me, because a bit like you guys said, I like to be my own guinea pig and then work from there. Yeah. So I would pretty much just started with cold showers, and I would just shower cold. Which is great. Yeah. I actually personally find it so peaceful in the ice. Really, really peaceful. Yeah. Once you're in and you've just gone through that, and you find that centering, I find it really, really peaceful. So
we see that watching people go and do their dip. There's a bit of anxiety, perhaps first, even if they've done it 100 times. It's a new environment. They've never been here before. Maybe they've never.
Don't know how quite cold it's going to be.
Exactly. So there's all this a bit of apprehension, a bit nervous, a bit excitement. So all those kind of things mixed in. They get in, the initial whatever it is reaction happens, but then you do see this really, whether it's 5 seconds or 50 seconds of just
bliss.
Space.
It's really visual.
It's
almost like a little light.
And that was a really big thing on Wim Hof. They said to always make sure, no matter how long you go in, that you find that. So if you get out and you're still in that panic, the physical benefits will not have occurred. You need to wait to find that point where you then even out and you're feeling very calm. Allow those to happen and then get out. And it's the same, they said, even in all colds, so even in the shower. So if you just do a quick spritz and you're ooh and out, you haven't then yet experienced those benefits.
And I think that takes us to what we were saying again when we were making coffee about you need to become a little bit intuitive about it, and it's not about clock watching and saying today I'm doing 2.5 minutes because yesterday I did 2 minutes 15. It's not about that. It's about how am I feeling today, and actually perhaps sometimes 2 minutes will be enough. Perhaps sometimes 1 minute will be enough.
Yeah.
And it's not about that. But it's easy to fall into that trap because the ego takes over, and you think, well, I want to do this because I did that the other day. But actually, I think as soon as you let that go, and
I potentially think we started that way, that we felt, even though we knew we were pulling away from that, we felt we needed to maintain a similar kind of time or at least get better. I think we've become really good at that actually one day I might be able to manage 30 seconds.
It's a great learning and ethos to take to all places in your life. That intuition and go with how you are in that moment, because every single moment we experience in the now is different. And sometimes you might go, you know what, today this feels really good, it feels quite warm. And other days, as you say, no matter what the time, if it's shorter, that's what's needed on that day. The cold was a way to help people to quieten that ego, not just with the cold, but actually in all areas of their life. So one day, I think it was probably the most significant. We could go in the ice for as long as we wanted, but there was no clock. So again, as we just discussed, no clock, you go with feeling. You go with feeling on that day, in that moment. And by a 40-minute mark, and she was like, I'll tell you when you're at 20 and then when you're nearing 40. And by 40, I want you out, have warmed yourself up to be in complete control of your being and to be ready to go inside, but to be calm, because, often for half an hour you have shakes and things going on. And she said, that's okay, but I want to know you can control yourself. And also take that whole ego away from I've been in for X amount of time, because again, as we discussed, there's actually up to 2 minutes. At the 2 minute mark, they say you've experienced all the physical benefits that you can get. So staying beyond that is either because you find some mental bliss and it's actually you feel that benefits you cognitively, or you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, for really the external world, for what you think they'll perceive of you, and you can't control that. They might actually look at you and go, what an idiot. What are they doing?
They probably are. Just saying. Especially if you're one of the ones that are at our gym and jump in and out. Stop it.
So some days I think it's like you have to have enough self-awareness to know. And I think again we sort of did this when we first got this amazing ice bath. It was like we use it every day. But actually sometimes you don't need to use it. And
I think again that's one of these conditionings of the world. Like you need to, if you're going to be consistent and you're going to get benefits from things, you need to do it every day. But again, I kind of try and encourage people to move away from the concept of a day. It's just a period of time, and it's just continuous moments of being in the now. And therefore, if you almost remove these boundaries of days and just go, oh, it's just flowing amount of time, you go in when it feels good. I think it's, ensuring that you're aware enough of where, say, that line is you're making an excuse because you're fearful, over actually going, no, today it will be really, really good for me.
Because with anything, consistency is very good. But consistency doesn't mean
every day.
It just means you keep going with the practice.
Exactly. And it's interesting, when I asked about illness when we were on the expedition, and again, they said go with feeling, but they said, you know, if you feel something coming, like a cold or a flu, it can really help then prevent that. But when you're in the middle of it and it's at its highest peak, it actually can then have a reverse effect. Yeah. But then again, when you feel you're coming out of it, it can help to strengthen again. And that's been you kind of go through a curve, and that's been really fascinating, because I've tried that out once when I then had the flu following on from that, and that really did work. But as we go back to feeling and intuition, there were days where my body said to me, no, today it can't handle it. Yeah. But it's being really honest with yourself and going, is that what my body's feeling, or is it an excuse? And when you know yourself enough to know the difference, you can then be truly honest and go, no, today it's too much. Yeah.
If you can get to that point where you understand that, I think it's the sweet spot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. And speaking of sweet spots, shall we get you in?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Really excited. Yeah, because since I got back, it's really interesting, like we chatted about, you get in the plunge or you go in the shower, and because you've been in such cold there, you're like, it feels so much warmer on your skin. Yeah. So I'm excited, because this will be the coldest in a while. Yeah. Yeah.
Nervous at all, or you just...
No, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited. So let me put this here.
Right.
Girls of prey. Yeah. No hesitation.
I've tried to train myself.
And can speak as well immediately.
Straight away.
I've tried to train myself that I get in it the exact same way I would get in a normal shower.
Yeah.
Because I find when you remove the anticipation, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I do as well. How does it feel?
Nice.
Yeah.
Really nice. Yeah.
Really cold?
Yeah, it's pretty cold. Yeah. It is pretty cold.
How are your fingers and toes? That's where we kind of feel.
Toes are okay, fingers are very cold. Very cold. I find my hands the coldest part.
Yeah, see, often we'll actually leave ours out.
I do find it, I find it very calm. Like, if we weren't chatting, the way I would describe it is, say any thoughts that are going on in my head, it's almost like a button that just goes off.
Yeah.
And it's just peace. And then what I find it really allows me to connect with the environment. So if I just shut my eyes now, all the kind of sounds of the birds and even the cars and any sounds that in nature we don't always take note of, I just get really present.
I think that's right, actually. They're almost amplified, aren't they?
They are,
I think
yeah.
I feel that when I go in there.
Yeah.
Where's the sun?
I know.
It is nice when the sun's out as well.
I think I'm good.
You finished?
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you feeling now?
Good.
Yeah.
Very calm.
Yeah.
Very calm.
Have you got that invigoration, the boost?
I think that will come. I think I'm someone that finds real calm first, and then in, say, half an hour's time, I'll really feel that, I definitely feel awake, though, and bright and clear-headed.
Yeah, you look. You do,
I'm ready to go. No, thank you. That was lovely.